Meet the Ambassador, a program that highlights a friendly chat with the ambassador's impression on the kingdom. Meet the Ambassador with Dr. Taghreed Al-Sarraj and Bender Asiri. Stay tuned on SRFM.
Each episode, we will informally talk with different ambassadors from around the world in Saudi Arabia. The purpose of the talk is to shed light on the ambassadors themselves living in Saudi and talk about any similarities and differences between our cultures. So our main focus will be on languages, culture, and a bit of storytelling. So stay tuned for Meet the Ambassadors on Saudi Radio. I want you to listen to this clip of music coming up next. So try to guess which country is our guest ambassador from. I hope you had a chance to listen to the music and guess which country our next guest is from. On today's episode, we have the Argentinian ambassador to Saudi Arabia, His Excellency Marcelo Gilardoni, is with us on the line. Hello, Ambassador. How are you doing today?
Hello, Taghreed. Very good. Thank you. And you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
This show is focused on language and culture. So we want to kick off our conversation today with the question of how many languages do you speak, Mr. Ambassador?
Well, I do speak my mother tongue. It's Spanish.
Uh-huh.
And then I do speak Italian and English and French.
And French.
Yeah, that would be the
Four
languages I speak.
Uh-huh.
And then I have basic knowledge of German, which I took at the Diplomatic Institute, and I'm learning Arabic.
So we have six languages, almost six languages
No,
there.
not six. It's four plus maybe two more that are very basic.
Okay. So
I've been learning Arabic since like 2 years ago. My Arabic is pretty basic, but I'm proud because I know the alphabet now, and I can read with a great effort, and I can write also.
that's
With some errors, with some mistakes, but I can still write.
Yep, it still counts as a language there for me because you've been telling me how to pronounce this word and this letter, so I think you have a very good command of Arabic. You're going to practice even more while you're here.
Good.
So-
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, how long have you been stationed in Saudi?
I've been here for 2.5 years now, a little bit more than 2.5 years. I got here in October 2018.
2018.
So, yeah.
So with Arabic, you're learning Arabic, and how is it difficult? Do you think it's a difficult?
Well, it's actually very difficult, but once you get to know the alphabet, it's much easier. I mean, once you can recognize the letters, and you can read, it's much easier. So when you get to know a new word, if you write it, you fix it in a different way. if you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
But the key word is practice, practice, practice. That's the only way to learn languages is if you don't practice it, you'll lose it. So keep on it.
Thank you. But then the thing with Arabic is basically that you have different letters, different sounds. So,
Yes.
like for instance, if you say Afwan,
Uh,
it seems like an aleph, but it's actually an ain. So when you write it, you really know the way to pronounce it and to write it again. F1, not F1.
see?
If you know what I mean.
Yes, you already know how to differentiate these.
Well, that's it. So you know, so like Abdul, it's the same. You think it's with an aleph or with
Yes.
an A in English or in
Yes.
Spanish, and it's not.
So you
It's
see
a
how
different
difficult it
sound.
is for us to translate or to actually write the words, the Arabic words into English. That's why people don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, because you have less vowels than we do. So, and then you have letters we don't have, and we do
Exactly.
have letters that we don't. So, like the P or the E or the O. Like for instance, my name in Arabic would be Marcelo
Marcelo.
instead of Marcelo.
Marcelo.
Because
Yes.
you don't have the E or the O.
Yes.
So, but it's really fascinating for me to learn your language. It's really a very rich one, and you know what? As I told you, my mother tongue is Spanish, so it's very much related to Arabic in the sense that we inherited lots of words.
So, talking about fascination about languages, what about culture? When you were first was told that you're coming to move to Saudi or to be allocated to Saudi Arabia, what was your impression of an expectation?
Well, actually, going back to fascination, I have always been attracted to the Arab culture somehow. When I landed here in October 2018, that was my first time in Saudi. But I've been in the region before, not posted, but visiting for business or tourism.
Mm-hmm.
So I know your culture, and it's really very much related to ours. Somehow, you know, I think we Latinos or South Americans, you know, in my case, my mother, she's Spanish, and my father, he's Italian. So I was born in Argentina, but my culture, it's very much related to yours in many senses. And then we have many more things in common that we might think in advance. I mean, we look very different.
Mm-hmm.
When you see an Arab man or an Arab woman dressed in a thobe or in the abaya, you look different. But if I do wear a thobe, or you or an Arab man wears a Western suit, we're very similar.
Mm-hmm.
And then we share lots of common things, you know, like family values, friendship, hospitality. You're very good guests.
Yes.
And friendship for you is very important.
So when your expectation-wise, you were, you had an idea, but was it...
I had an idea about the Arab world, but not a real idea about Saudi itself. Of course, the moment I landed here, I fell in love, in the sense that people were so friendly, so good hosts. I felt at home the very first moment I landed here. It was very nice. Of course, the weather doesn't help, but well, I'm not walking in the streets all day, as I would do in other cities in the world where I lived. So, but really, what shocked me a lot was people being so friendly, so good hosts. Yeah, making you feel at home. from the very first moments.
Yeah. And so we had a lot of ambassadors say, we've read so much, and then when we came here, we didn't expect because reading is very different than what you see. And then I think that's what you visited before, but not maybe as living here. And then you've seen a different side of the country.
That's very true.
Let's take a quick break, and we'll be back chatting with the Argentinian ambassador, His Excellent Marcelo Gilardoni. You're listening to SRFM Meet the Ambassadors program with Dr. Taghreed Al-Sarraj. We are continuing our talk about culture and languages with our guest ambassador, His Excellence Marcelo Gilardoni from Argentina. Welcome back, Ambassador.
Thank you very much, Agreed.
Ambassador, I'm sure you're always busy with work, but did you get a chance to travel around Saudi and explore its different parts?
Yes, of course I did. I mean, for me, getting to know a country is really traveling around it. So every time I have the chance to, I take my car and I drive around the country with friends or family.
So from all the different places that you've been to, can you tell us, which is your favorite and what are they, the places that you've been to?
Okay. The places I've been to, well, I visited the Eastern Province many times. Of course, Jeddah, Taif, I've been to Tabuk, I've been to Hail, been to Medina. I drove a couple of times to the Emirates, so I know like the Riyadh and Eastern Province on the way to the Emirates. That would be, I think it's Harsh and Harad. And I was
also... It's Harsh and what?
Harsh and Harad. Harad?
Yeah?
Harad. It's a town on the way to the Emirates.
How long is the drive? I've never driven
It's like 8 hours. 8 hours.
8 hours,
yeah,
wow.
From Riyadh to Abu Dhabi.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be 7 to 8 hours. And
Okay.
I was also to Kuwait by car. So I went to Dubai. I did the road on the side of the Arabic Sea all the way up to Kuwait. And talking about the places I like the most, I know you're calling me from Jeddah, and it's not because you're calling me from Jeddah, but I like Jeddah very much. Al-Balad, it's very special.
Ah, yes.
It's very special.
Did you go to the old town?
Yeah, I went to the old town. I went to the old town. Last year, because of the G20, we had a couple of meetings there, and we were invited by the G20 organization to go and make a tour of Al-Balad. We went up on one of these old buildings, historic buildings, and it's really very special. I feel like Jeddah is much more cosmopolitan. It's much more open. And of course, I love having the sea next door.
Yes,
The Red Sea is one of the most beautiful seas in the world.
Yes, we're very happy that it just gets a bit humid in the summer, but not the case. You get scenery-wise in the sea. We can't complain about that.
But you have also the sea breeze apart from humidity.
Yeah, yes, that's true.
So
That's
that
true.
helps a lot.
That's at night.
And then in Jeddah, you can combine the beach and the beach resort with culture and history.
Yes. By any chance, have you visited Al-Ula?
Yeah, I was to Al-Ula as well.
Yeah.
I was there twice.
Oh, twice.
I was there
mashallah.
twice. Yeah. I was once for a beach polo, a desert polo actually, championship last year in 2020. It was 3 or 4 days. And then once with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and it was very nice.
Yeah,
Very
I keep telling every ambassador on the line when in every episode they always say Al-Ula, and I'm always envious because I kept saying I have never been to Al-Ula until now, and
Don't
you
tell me
all
that.
have
I can't
gone.
believe that.
I know
How come?
I can't. I don't know. Every time I've been telling people, somebody has to take me. Whenever something happens, please tell me. So I want to go. But one of these days I have to get to it. But all the ambassadors have gone at least twice, and that's just it's incredible. I love that. And so you're not, that's why I asked you. Maybe I thought maybe there's an exception that somebody like me haven't gone, but everybody has gone. I'm the only one. So I want to
So
ask
you
you,
have
Miss.
to go there.
Oh
It's
yes, yes, for
beautiful,
sure. That should
beautiful,
be, that's my next.
beautiful.
That's in my bucket list. So I'm gonna get to it.
Okay, good.
But what you've done is a very, very courageous and very, like, I would have never driven from Riyadh to Dubai or Kuwait for 8 hours. Maybe I just love, quick to get there quick by plane, not by car.
Well, I'm Argentinian, so I'm used to driving long distances.
Oh,
And I
yes.
think driving is the best way to get to know a
Of
country.
course,
Actually. If you
yes.
take a plane, of course
Yes.
you're there much before, but you skip part of the
Yeah, it's part of the
trip.
enjoyment. Like my father would
Yeah,
always do
yeah.
that, but I would say no. Let's just get there quick and fast. That's me. So I want to ask you, Mr. Ambassador, when people move to live in a country that has a different culture from their own, they sometimes go through something called culture shock. And so I want to ask you: is looking back when you first came to live or work in Saudi, was there any stories that you can share with us that highlights the similarities or the differences between our cultures?
Well, let me think about. Yeah, I recall. The first time I was posted in Rome before coming to Saudi. So the first Saudi official I met when I was designated ambassador here was the Saudi ambassador in Rome. So he invited me to his residence, and we had lunch and coffee first. And I'm not much of a coffee drinker, I don't drink a lot of coffee. And I told him so. So he said, well, you should try it because it's Arabic coffee, it's a Saudi tradition. So
Ambassador, you're
they
from
serve it.
Argentina and you don't drink a lot of coffee. I would think your
No, well, Argentina,
cuartetitos
well,
are always there.
no.
I've been in
Well, believe it or
Miami
not,
for so long that I love the coffee.
we do drink coffee. We're not Italians, of course not, but or Spanish. They drink a lot. In my case, I don't drink coffee because if I do, I won't sleep at night.
Oh, okay.
It's something maybe more psychological than I think. So I told him the show, and he said, well, you should try because it's a special, it's a Saudi tradition. So he insisted, and I did. And then he told me about this way you have to make the people serving the coffee know that you don't want any more coffee.
Yes.
So he told me about the shaking the cup. So
Yes.
when I landed in Saudi, protocol official went to the airport to pick me up, and he was kind of shocked because I knew this tradition.
So you got heads up before you came.
Yeah, I was.
I felt very sorry for the Mexican ambassador that kept pouring him 4 cups of coffee until he figured it out that he said no more, no more. Then they told him about the shake, but you got a head start on that.
Right.
So it was wonderful chatting with you, Mr. Ambassador. Is there any final
Likewise,
thoughts you would like to share with us about language and culture or anything wonderful?
Just the thing. I'm just going back to the thing I was telling you before. I mean, we are much people from Argentina and people from Saudi. We're much more similar
Yes.
that what we might think in advance, And then I think we have to get people in both countries know about the others,
Yes.
So I think we have to work on this, getting to know each other much better. I
Yes.
think we share lots of things, and we're very similar.
Yes, I mean,
So,
the family gatherings, the family connection is very similar to the Arab world and to the Saudi
same
style.
with friendship,
Yes.
and then same with hosting,
Yes, yes,
And
hospitality.
then, something, the second or third day I was in Saudi, there was an ambassador, I can't recall who was him, but he told me, when you make a friend in Saudi, it's forever. And I
Yes,
think that's very true.
yes,
That's very true. And it's the same in Argentina, when you make an Argentinian friend, it's forever.
yes.
No matter how far you go after Saudi or after Argentina, you will keep that friendship forever. And this is something I wanted to share with you.
Well, thank you, Ambassador, for that. We thank you for being on this episode. You are listening to Meet the Ambassadors program on SRFM. Our guest today was His Excellency Ambassador Marcelo Gilardoni from Argentina. Thank you for listening, and until our next episode with a new guest ambassador, take care and goodbye.
Meet the Ambassador, a program that highlights a friendly chat with the ambassador's impression on the kingdom. Meet the Ambassador with Dr. Taghreed Al-Sarraj and Bender Asiri. Stay tuned on SRFM.